Hey guys, Basil Wolf from Grayson Hobby, and today we have another new quad from KingKong, or LDARC.
Tiny GT8.
Yay, we got it. So this is the newest version of the 2S whip style quads that's hitting everybody like storm.
Yeah.
And in this video, we're gonna fly it outside. We're gonna do a speed test. We're gonna open it up. We're gonna hook it up to Betaflight. We're gonna do the OSDs. We're gonna get one of the local whoop experts, totally obsessed and out of control with these kind of quads. He's gonna fly it for us and give us his thoughts and all that good stuff. So coming up next. Now.
Whoa. And that is a dead quad. Oh, okay, I ejected the battery.
Turtle mode, turtle mode.
Durability, you can't turtle mode with no battery.
Oh, bullshit. Turtle
no
mode.
Battery.
How does it survive after that?
Scratched it a little bit on top, but that's it.
I think it came late. I think we actually did it the first day.
Nah, that was just now.
It looks pretty good. Let's power it up. Those that are new to this channel, Grayson Hobby is a shop located right outside of Atlanta, Georgia, where we sell drones and cars and airplanes. And we're located in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And everything you see on our website ships from our location here in Atlanta. You just flew the whoop first time. You literally just showed up. We gave you the whoop and the controller. Not even your controller, not even your goggles.
No.
Nothing of yours.
I mean, this thing too, I never flown one of these before, but it's probably the most powerful whoop I've flown for sure. I've been flying a 75X for the last few weeks.
Which is brushed.
Which is a brushless.
So this is...
It's Beta's new brushless.
It is a brushless one, so you're comparing that to another brush. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, this one has more power, man. And
all
whoops that I've been fooling with, and I fly a lot of different brands, man.
He's a whoop king.
You gotta, when you kill the power, they usually fall like a rock. And you would think because they're lighter, they don't, but they do fall like a rock. And this one had a little bit of float to it, man. When you kill the power, when you kill the throttle, it had a hair throat. Yeah, you know. I mean, you need to try it out, man.
Would you fly it inside?
No, no.
Why not?
No.
Too much power?
In a gym race, man, where you had like the size of a basketball court.
But the warehouse back there. No, that's not a basketball court. That's like a half court.
This thing, man, basketball court. You can fly it in the winter.
That's exactly what I fly.
It was punching up over top of them trees and everything.
In the wind.
Really nice, man.
Look at that wind. I can see that. Look at that flag back there. American flag.
I've flown it. I just haven't flown it outside.
Fly it outside.
All right. So 2S whoops. That looks like it's hitting the industry-wide storm.
Brushless, micro, 2 cells. We're coming up on wintertime, so it's bound to happen. That's what happened last year with the big craze with the brushed ones. The brushless ones were just not there yet.
Right.
They were very problematic, very temperamental. Motors were failing left and right. So this year, times moved on, technology's improved a little bit, Betaflight's gotten better, speed controls have gotten better, the micro motors are getting better designed.
And small, everything's getting smaller.
And here we go. That's what we got.
So this guy, the Tiny 8, I don't know if it's an indoor model. For me, it's probably not going to be an indoor model. I have that problem on-off kind of thing.
I would say if you're very skilled, I mean, if you're really good at flying, you could probably handle it inside. You're going to need throttle management and definitely be pretty precise on the sticks to handle it well inside.
Now they do make other indoor models for, say, like the Tiny 7.
Yeah, there is.
We'll go over that one later. Another video below. All right, now we are about to go fly this guy, KingKong, inside. Will, you happy about that?
Yeah, it's a little quick, but it'll fly. Small backyard flyer. So if you have like an apartment complex or somewhere where you don't have really big area to fly, but you don't want to fly like an Inductrix outside, I think this is the perfect answer.
Right.
So
we've always, at least in the past, I've always never found a good quad that flew good outside and inside.
If you got a job that you travel a lot, hotels, perfect. Fly in the parking lot.
There you go. If you travel a lot. If you're traveling and you're in desperate need to minimize your carry-ons and all that stuff, if you have a Tiny 7 or the X-Lite and a Tiny 8,
you can get it in the box.
No problems. However, I would put some foam around there to see what shake. But it can be done.
I will say, as far as durability goes on this, we've hit the crap out of this thing. I've let a couple customers try it here in the store, just smashing things, and the guards have held up. They do have some discoloration from being flexed a lot, but they're not broken. If this was a Inductrix frame like the old times,
oh, it had been cracked.
It would have been broken.
First flight would have been cracked.
So definitely KingKong did a great job with the durability of their plastic on this one. Very strong, and that is why it's a little bit heavier, because I think it's just a stronger material.
So again, another trade-off. You get your durability versus weight. This is the GT8 inside. All right.
So as far as I can tell instantly, this thing, for the tight turns that I normally do with the QX65, for example, it's just so fast. It's not necessarily really that much bigger, but it does feel a lot bigger because of the speed and weight that it's carrying through the turns. It's pretty cool, but if you're gonna, I'd say this, again, this one's better for possibly light outdoor flying, some indoor. If you got large gymnasiums, stuff like that, big areas, warehouses, if you work at a warehouse where you're allowed to kind of goof off and stuff like that, perfect. But as far as like in the house, I'm going to say probably not a good choice for this quad. I would probably go with the Tiny 7 or, you know, QX65, something like that. Tiny 6, Tiny 7. Or even one of the brushed ones. Yeah, okay. For inside to really, because I'm really having to manage the throttle on this thing. It is very powerful for inside. Not necessarily that it's not fun, but it's like, oh crap, I'm gonna break it.
Or break something.
Yeah.
Or someone.
Now here's what we got in the box. This is a Tiny GT8. We got the quad there. We have the battery, 380 milliamp 2-cell. You'll notice it has a single connector here. This is not like the E-Flite UMX connector. This is a standard balance plug connector size. And a bag of goodies in here. Let's see what we got. Oh, there's the charge lead. Okay, this is the next big thing to talk about. Because this doesn't have a main battery lead, a lot of chargers you can't plug in just the balance lead to charge. You have to have the main lead connected too. So what they did is made a splitter to where this would go into your main charge lead and that would go into your balance port of your charger. We got a USB cable, which is nice. They have a nice low profile cable there, so you don't have a big shroud around the cable. It's nice to plug in. And again, this is a data cable, not a power only cable. Some spare props, pink. I'm not sure why they included pink on this one. Maybe they're random.
They're random.
1.9 inch, so 1935 props is the size. Prop screws, a little hardware screw set. That's pretty nice. We got stickers. Again, I think KingKong really likes the stickers all of a sudden. This is the receiver binding manual like we did on the ET series, same receiver. So it's also got the manual with it. So it's got basic information about the quad.
If you lose your manual, you can go on our website and actually print a hard copy out yourself, give one to you and one to your friends. The GT8,
right, guys,
what are the specs?
So this is the GT8. Now the wheelbase and all that, or whatever you want to consider, is 87.6. So let's see, is that motor to motor or is 87.6. So just shy of 90 millimeters. Flight controller is a SP Racing F3 format, so it's an F3 flight controller, not an F4. It does have 4-in-1 ESC integrated. Now the flight controller and speed controls are on the same board, I believe. Yeah, it's integrated. So there are 10 amp ESCs, which is actually pretty beefy for these little motors, and they are running BLHeli S. The VTX is a 25 milliwatt 16 channel. It does have an integrated OSD, very basic OSD for like battery voltage, timer, and like your pilot name kind of thing on it.
Now how's that different than the Betaflight OSD?
Betaflight's fully configurable. So unlike the ET series where it uses a Betaflight OSD, this is a very basic OSD. I guess they just didn't have the room for it, I'm not really sure. But it is not as good as a Betaflight OSD.
All right, but you still get your information on the screen.
Timer, battery voltage, and it does give you a low voltage warning and all that. So it's got the necessary stuff.
All right, better than nothing?
Better than nothing.
There you go.
The camera is a 800 TV line, 150 degree camera, so it's a pretty wide angle. It is NTSC native, and the motors are 0804 brushless 7500 kV. So these are very small little motors.
Tiny.
They're built like a big motor though. A lot of them don't have the bottoms and everything on it, so they're pretty nice little motors there. Lower kV, I don't know if that's gonna translate to longer reliability, like lifespan, because a lot of people complain about the really high kV motors on the micros wearing out and stuff like that. It appears they have bearings as well, not bushings, so they're actually a full ball bearing motor. The props are 1935 props, so they're 1.9 inch diameter, 3.5 inch pitch props. Kind of unique to this quad, I think. There's some out there on the market, but for the most part, I would probably stick with the stock props as of right now. The battery is a 2-cell, 380 milliamp LiPo, and it does
show us where it goes in.
So it goes into the bottom.
You see the big plastic.
Yeah, huge cavity for it.
Yeah.
So it's there, and then plugs in. Now, by using only the balance plug style, you don't have the extra wire dangling and all that. So
it saves weight and it saves batteries from damage.
Wires from getting in the props, yeah.
So go over this. The canopy looks pretty cool because you can access the USB.
Yeah, the USB is actually right in the front of this guy, so you don't have to take anything apart. The USB is right in the front. right there. And the weight of the quad is, but let's see what we got, 49.3 with the FreeSky receiver. Total flying weight is 68.7 grams. It's got a decent weight to it. I was actually surprised. I was expecting it to be too heavy and be kind of anemic, but it's actually been very peppy for what it is. Like the first time I punched it up in throttle, wasn't expecting it. I hit the ceiling. I kept hitting the Primo above you. So I just kept punching that. So after flying the other ones and then flying this one, I was like, whoa, that's a lot more power than I was used to.
All right, let's take this bad boy apart.
All right, against my better judgment, because there's really zero need to take this apart, we're gonna take it apart. So you're gonna need a really small screwdriver with this, like a eyeglass screwdriver probably. Got the 2 screws. Now the back side, there's 2 little push-ins. The plastic pops in.
The technical term?
So I don't know.
Push-ins?
The little nubbins, I don't know, whatever.
That's technical term.
Are you doing this or who's doing this right now? All right, go control the camera. So we lift it off here, and the VTX power board right there is there, power-wise there.
One plug and get the whole top canopy comes up.
This is the VTX in there, the camera's in there. Looks like that's a little OSD chip right there. The flight controller and speed control is all one big board. So there's 2 screws that hold it front and back, and then the LED there, that's the LED you can program through Betaflight, so if you want to do different things, stuff like that, you can do that. Now on the front of it, which is interesting, above the USB port is the solder pads were ground, 3.3, 5 volt. Got the motor wires soldered in over here underneath.
So it's not much to it. So if you bust it real hard or go in the water, you gotta, how many screws does it take to get that flight controller out?
Get the flight controller out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then depending on what you got to do, then the motors.
Okay. And this is why you should not take apart your quads.
At this point, I realized I did something wrong. I dropped the screw, and it is nowhere to be found.
Wait, is that it?
No, it's a blob of solder.
Oh. There it is.
Oh, hey, look at that.
So, let's go over the OSD.
Okay, the OSD. Let's go over something.
Something you don't want to do, but...
In order to get to the OSD menu, you have to push and hold this VTX channel changing button here, and then plug in the battery at the same time. And then,
so now we're in OSD.
So now we're in OSD. So you have a timer in the bottom left corner flashing. When you start pushing the button, it'll reset. So basically that's a timeout till it'll go away on the OSD.
So when that gets into 0, it goes to regular mode, okay?
All right, the first menu is your battery voltage selection. So if you change that, it'll be like 2 cell, 3 cell, or 4 cell. So the second one is the alarm voltage. That's whether it goes off at 3.3 volts per cell, 3.4, 3.5, or 3.6 is the options.
Okay.
The next one is auxiliary line. That's like your OSD, like artificial horizon, which is just a horizontal line, vertical lines, or horizontal and vertical.
Oh yeah, I see.
The next one is your time display. So if you don't want the timer to be running while you're flying, then you can turn it off. And the pilot itself. So any of these settings you can actually turn off on the screen so you don't display on the screen. If you want it blank, you can do that. We want to turn that off, push and hold the button, and it's flashing on the next menu there.
So we skip one. The TV with the A. Auto, PAL, NT.
Did I skip that one? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the camera format. So auto, PAL, or NTSC. I just really want to turn off the pilot name. So we're going to go to that. We're going to push and hold the button, go in there, and now I want to check it and push and hold it long again to turn it off.
All right, so the X means off, check means...
Yeah.
Good.
So after 40 seconds, no operation, I got 15 seconds here. So once it runs out of time, it'll save whatever settings are.
And 0.
All right, so you'll notice the pilot's name is there. This is the low battery warning because we're using a low battery.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And then that's what happens when you fly too much.
Yeah, that's that's the low voltage warning. So when it hits the preset thing, that will start flashing in the corner.
Just do a couple passes of speed test, and then we'll. There he is. There comes the gun. Way too high. 45, I believe 45. 43, yeah, it's working this way. Just 42. All right, that's a 4th and 5th pass in the 40s.